Good morning and happy Tuesday. Today I have a quick video on your notes. Again, this is still talking about things that we've already gone over before, so this isn't completely new. But I wanted to give you this content in a different way to maybe help with your multi-step equations as we move into some literal equations and how we combine things and why we do that. So I have a page on combining like terms. I attached these notes below for your assignment today, so you can just print them if you want and follow along with this video without writing, or you can write them down with me as I go through the video, pausing when you need. So like terms, whenever I say, in this equation, are there any like terms that we can combine? I want to make sure that you guys understand what that means. Again, we've talked about this before, but I wanted to give you another place to reference this. Constants are just plain numbers. Any kind of number. A fraction is still a number. A positive, a negative, just a number. If it is a coefficient, it's a number in front of a variable. And you can also have a coefficient with a variable to a certain degree. So in order to combine them, they either have to have the exact same letter or the same letter in the same degree as well. And so these are some examples of things that are like terms. All of these are alike, all of these are alike, and all of these are alike. So if the coefficient has variables with it, in order to combine them, they need to have the same letters and the same degrees with them. So for example, if you have this equation here, this should have been a plus symbol, excuse me. Plus, I'm sorry, where's my mark? Let's imagine this is a plus symbol. I apologize. So if you have this plus this plus this, at this moment, these are all like terms because they all have a number in front of a letter, and the letter that they all have is x, and x is to the third degree for all of them. In this example, if we have 4x to the third plus 4x squared, we cannot combine these two at all because this is talking about 4 times a number cubed, and this is 4 times a number squared. So it's not the same value that we're talking about. Some helpful tips that I added right here for you to keep in mind, and I think these are super helpful when you can't see everything, would be to add a plus sign in front of your positive numbers. So when you're working with multiple terms, to connect them, you will see a plus or a minus sign. Like you will see that. But the first term, if it's positive, you don't see anything at all. We don't write positive 4x third. This is assumed positive because there's no negative symbol. This one, same thing. It's assumed positive because there's no negative symbol. So if it helps you, write that symbol out in front of the ones that don't have one with them. Add an invisible 1 in front of your variables that do not have a coefficient, and then circle them together so that you understand the symbol that is in front of a number or a coefficient that has a variable with it is part of it. So in this example here, 2x plus x minus 3y plus y, I went in and added the positive symbol in front of 2x, and I added my imaginary 1 here and here, my invisible 1, I'm sorry. Then I circled each term with the sign that goes with it. So when I'm looking to combine these, I know how to combine them. So this is a positive 2x and this is a positive 1x. Well, positive 2 and positive 1 is 3. I just add them together. In this situation, these are working with y's, and both of them have just a y, no exponents, and just a number in the front. This is negative 3 and positive 1. Well, negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So I can't just say, oh, 3 and 1 is 4. You have to look at the symbol that comes in front of it. So this would be 3x minus 2y once I combine these and simplify it down to its simplest form. And then the last example is the same thing. So I wrote the original problem. I put the imaginary 1 in front of the y squared, and then I circled it, the symbol, the number, and the letter for each term. And then I just looked at my variables here. This one has a number and then an x and a y. So anything that I combine with this has to have an x and a y. So over here we have 5xy. These are like terms, and so these two got combined. And -4 and +5 is 1. Now again, you don't have to write your 1, but I did. It's fine. And then 4x and -3x, those are like terms. They both have a number and an x with no exponent. So I combine those, and +4 and -3 is just 1. 4 minus 3. And then the y squared, you can't forget about it, but there's nothing to combine it with, so it just comes down as well. So all we're doing is taking something that's not in its simplest form and combining things that we can to make it easier to look at and read. And so for today's work, I'm going to go back up to the top. For today's work, you have a maze that is similar to your exponent maze, but it's just combining like terms. So you'll start at the top, you'll look at the problem that was given, and you'll combine things that you can, put it in its simplest form, and find the answer, and that answer will lead you to your next question. And that is your work for today, because when we move into variables on both sides tomorrow, I need you to understand when I move this coefficient with a variable in front of it, something like this, when I move it to the other side, what can I combine it with on that side? Is there anything that is similar to it? And if not, you just write it on the other side. You can't combine it. So I want to make sure that we understand how to combine them before we start working with variables on both sides and moving them back and forth. Again, we've done a little bit of these, but not too many, and I want to work on that tomorrow before we get into literal equations. So copy down your notes, and even if you don't get your maze done, you can at least upload your notes for your attendance for today. And when you do your maze, I wrote this in the instructions as well. You can either print it and write on it. You can edit it on the computer and write on it that way if you have a way to do that. You can screenshot it on your phone and edit it as a picture in Instagram or Snapchat and color over it and then save it in your drive as an edited picture. Or you can just handwrite it on a piece of paper, write down the problem, and then show an arrow in the right direction with the answer that you chose, and just draw it out on paper as well. And that goes for anything we ever do in class. If you have no access to a printer, please handwrite your work. Like, it is a-okay to write things down. So that's it for today. Your video is super short. I hope this is helpful, and good luck on your maze.